Let's begin! Arca's Path is a ball rolling game where you must navigate your way through increasingly difficult levels. To move a ball around, you simply use the actual headset. Wherever you look, a triangle will be displayed and the ball follows it. There is some weight to the ball, so you do need to get used to its momentum. The further the triangle is away from the ball, the faster it travels towards it. This is a great help when having to pick up speed for a ramp. The pathways get more narrow as you progress through the levels, and the barriers on their sides start to become less frequent. Luckily, there are checkpoints that appear a few times in each stage. Simply rolling over one activates it. Most of the time, it is all about navigating your way around the layout of a level and overcoming obstacles. Platforms move up and down that allow you to reach higher up sections. They do move a bit slowly, especially early on in the game, so there is a sense of urgency when one is currently on the same floor that you are on, as having to wait for it to return back again is a bit time consuming. Some platforms also rotate, which require some precise timing when moving across them. Switches also make an appearance that when knocked into, activate something in the world. This is usually bridges for you to cross. These switches can blend in with the environment and don't have a real visual indicator that they are there, although they are usually placed quite near a dead end, so the hunt for them isn't a long one. Some other bridges can also be made by simply knocking the ball into a vertical slab. Blocks also appear that you can move to form new pathways. These can only be moved along a line though, which creates some small puzzles for you to solve. Also creating some puzzle elements are smashable walls. When collided with, rubble flies everywhere, which does look quite nice thanks to the physics engine. Some of these walls can only be smashed from a certain direction, which allows for some maze-like layouts to work out and navigate around. This distraction also appears on the floors. These floors must be crossed over quickly, as when the ball moves on top of one, the floor will crumble away beneath you. This, along with the downhill curved slopes, are the most intense and exciting parts of the game. Your heart won't be pumping loads though, but let's be honest, it's not really that type of game. Your actual position in the virtual world is moved with the ball. I didn't feel motion sick whilst playing, but as you know, I have played a lot of VR now. Unfortunately, I do think others who haven't spent that much time may feel a bit funny after long play sessions, due to them not having direct control of their position. You can actually pause the game, which stops your movement and the ball from following your gaze. It's useful for taking a break and also for looking around the level if you're unsure where to go to next. But for the most part, the level is easily followable thanks to it being laid out right in front of you. Whenever the ball moves, a sound is heard and it does start to grind on your ears. I was able to get used to it after playing a few levels. And hearing its increase and decrease in tempo does actually help with knowing how fast the ball is travelling. What I couldn't put up with though is some of the music tracks. One in particular is extremely bad. It's absolutely awful, and there is some other tracks that keep popping up that just repeat the same glitch-like patterns over and over again. They really are annoying. Thankfully, you can turn the music and sounds off in the options menu. It's such a shame that these bad tracks are here, as a lot of the music is quite relaxing and very well made. It's odd that it isn't consistent throughout. The scenery is quite reminiscent of the Tearaway games, because of how everything springs to life and pops out of the environment. As a fan of them games, it was a treat to see in VR, especially with the crystal clear visuals. Some levels are bright and vibrant with a peaceful feeling, whilst others have a more darker tone. These both mostly combine well with the difficulty of the level's layout they are found in. There is a storyline which is told through images. I didn't get too involved in it though, due to there not being any voiceovers, but their transitions and the fact that there is depth inside the window-like cutouts still kept me entertained whilst they moved around in front of me. In total there are 25 levels to beat, and each one has a time trial attached. Each of the level's time trials must be unlocked first. This is done by collecting all of the collectibles in that level. These collectibles are worth getting, as they often have obstacles to overcome and sometimes a little puzzle to solve. Grabbing them all will slightly increase your playthrough time. It took me around 2.5 hours to beat the game, and I was trying to get all of the collectibles. So if you're not bothered about them, you can take a tiny bit of time off of my playthrough. Getting all of the game's trophies will up your gameplay time quite a bit though. Most of the trophies are hidden on PSN, but honestly, they don't ruin anything, as they are basically only additional challenges, so I am going to show them anyway. Some trophies will be rewarded for beating each of the game's chapters. Some are for doing certain actions with the ball, such as being airborne for a total of 180 seconds, being at full speed for 600 seconds, dying 5 times in a level, and also for smashing a total of 100 destructible tiles. All of these should unlock naturally after beating the game once. There is also some trophies related to the time trials. One is rewarded for simply finishing the time trial stage, and the other trophy is for beating the golden time in each. This one is a great addition, as it demands at the very least a second playthrough of the game. The hardest trophies here are for the previously mentioned gold in each time trial. The times are hard to beat, and do require excellent gaming skills. And the other hard one is for completing all the levels found in Chapter 3 without dying. After playing and reviewing quite a few intense games recently, this was a very welcome change of pace for me. I must admit, calm and relaxing games are a guilty pleasure of mine, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to fully let myself drift off into this world, due to the sound that the ball makes, and some of the music tracks that really did aggravate me. If I wasn't reviewing the game, some of the level's music I would have turned off instantly. I actually quite like the style of the game, although I was geeking out a little, as parts are quite reminiscent of the Tearaway series. Things popping up in the world certainly give each environment more life, which is something we don't often see in these types of ball rolling games. They're normally quite static worlds, so the extra animations here are very welcomed. Overall, I did enjoy some of my time with the game, for the type of game it is. The gameplay is very solid throughout, although not much really could have gone wrong because of its simplistic nature. I just wish some of the music had been cut completely, and the game had a few more gameplay elements. It does get samey quite quickly, and by around the 18th level, it did start to drag, although I was still slightly entertained thanks to some increase in the difficulty, but the game really isn't that difficult at all to beat. If you do like these types of games, you'll likely find a bit of enjoyment here, when played in bite-sized sessions. What you see is really what you get with this game. Just keep in mind, there is a mute option for the music. Are you a hardcore gamer like me, but like to relax every so often with a more calm game? If so, let me know what games you take it easy with in the comments below. As always, if you found this review helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more PlayStation VR content.